Who is it? Come in, please. I am Dutai, Genghis Khan's head general. I understand you wanted to speak with me now that Genghis Khan has been dead for 2 years. We have some time before the ceremony of the Kurtai begins and the clans begin to elect a new Khan. Sit down and rest. We can talk. Where do you come from, scholar? You're neither soldier nor Mongol. You must be from the west. Ah, Sargon, Persian capital. But what brings you here, to the eastern steppes? You know, it's rather unusual to see a Muslim scholar north of China. Of course, documentation of the Kurtai. It's such a famous and rare event that I'm sure your House of Knowledge wishes to have it stored in its archives. Well, let's begin then. I was here when Genghis Khan was elected at the first Kurtai, and I am here now to help elect a new leader of my people. I shall honor Genghis Khan's will, who prepared his empire to last long after his death. I was there in the beginning of his conquest, you know. His tactics and ideas were unheard of in our lands. He wanted to unite the Mongol tribes under him. He wanted to watch them grow powerful together. His eyes first set upon the eastern steppes where we are today. Many battles allowed his empire to grow. I remember in one case, we were massively outnumbered. So Genghis Khan attached straw to the back of every man's horse, and he mounted spare dummies on extra ones. He mounted spare dummies on extra horses, I mean. After he did this, when we started to march, we appeared triple in our size. The enemy began to flee, and we surrounded and captured them. Now, Genghis Khan always spared the men and women. He always spared the women and children, but he killed some of the men as to thin out the population and spread fear. Once united under Genghis Khan at the first Kurtai, Genghis led his army south into the western Xia kingdom of northern China. Once there, he outsmarted, outfought, and conquered his enemies on the battlefield. But when it came to conquering our first cities, we were flustered. Since we nomadic people have no siege weaponry or experience in city fighting, we didn't know how to take over a city. So, Genghis Khan captured enemy engineers. He forced them to make siege weaponry built for us, and it made siege weaponry and capturing cities much easier. Come, please, sit down. Yes, rest, please. Sit down right here. But, I mean, like, how can you still say that? You call yourself a scholar, then you should know the multiple successful invasions he launched. Every campaign he launched was successful. That's why he died at the hands of age and time. No man could beat him on the battlefield. Yes, I know why you feel this way. Because it's natural to resist an invader. It's natural. But you as a scholar, a man of knowledge, you must put aside personal feelings and pride on the subject. And you must accept facts and his accomplishments and conclude that he was a great leader. What do you mean his accomplishments now outweigh his actions? Genghis Khan united the tribes of the Mongol steppes and led them to defeat the Jin and Xia dynasties of northern China. I mean, they were more populated and more technologically advanced than us, and we still beat them. And when we beat them, that ensured that nobody bordering the Mongol Empire could defeat us in combat. He ensured that when he beat them. And I mean, in less than 30 years, his empire spread from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. In less than 30 years. And within all of that land, everyone was protected by fair laws and an army that ensured they would not be invaded. I mean, again, false. I mean, his accomplishments are more than just military. I mean, haven't you heard of the Yasa, which was his law, and the Yam, which was his long-distance communicating service? I mean, he also brought peace into the areas that he conquered. I mean, he allowed Yasa, but you're a scholar? Genghis Khan's law was known as the Yasa. It changed over the years as his conquest continued. He laid down a strict set of laws that prohibited murder and told people to value all religions equally. It also gave tax cuts for people who served religion over religious leaders. It was very clear on theft and other crimes as well, as respecting one another in the earth. Genghis Khan himself followed the law. I mean, he was not exempt from it. He included Mongol tradition as well as the countries he conquered traditions and their religions. Yes, it was a fair law. And he made sure his people knew and respected it too. Ah, yes. You want to know of your people. You want to know about the invasion of your people. The Persians. You believe we came because we wanted more war? No, we came because of your Shah, the governor of Otar. The governor of Otar killed peaceful caravans at his city of Otar, and the Shah shaved 2 ambassadors' heads and killed another ambassador as to deny Genghis Khan's offer at peace. In a way, he challenged Genghis Khan to war, if you will. The Shah brought this war down upon him. Killing was not fun for him, you know. He had a reason. Fear. Fear was the reason why he killed. He made sure that other people knew his stories of blood and conquest and feared him for it. Fear protected his land. I mean, who would want to attack the man who killed, who slaughtered at the city of Sarkman and then stacked the decapitated heads in pyramids in front of the city? But he commanded the respect of his men, and that loyalty protected him from anyone who decided to attack him. I mean, all in all, fear was the reason why he killed. An example of Genghis Khan outsmarting your Shah? Very well. After Jeb and Jochi had surrounded and defeated his city in what's called a pincer attack, your Shah decided that we must have split our forces up into numerous smaller units. So he did the same. Essentially what he did was he broke up his army and put them all in cities, equal amounts, up into thirds. Now, as we approached cities with no resistance, we destroyed them easily and had no trouble destroying the small forces inside. If anything, your Shah helped us. See, our men were fatigued from the travel from our wars in China all the way to here. And now, with no resistance and no real army to stop us, it was an easy invasion. You see, Genghis Khan did not just have every man run and plunder like a barbarian. He thought, planned, and he executed. After the long campaign in the Middle East, Genghis Khan decided that it was time to head home, so to say. So he regrouped all of his men in Sarkman and split them in 2. One army, led by me and my friend Joshi, were to go to Europe, Eastern Europe, and Georgia, Caspian Sea, while Genghis Khan would return to Afghanistan and India, back up through China into the Mongolian steppes, to rule. Forces surrounding our camp in the winter knew the Mongols would be back to set up bases and forts in the summer. They knew that we would be back to fully conquer the area. So the Kiev Rusks and other tribes and other countries around us decided to ally forces and attack us together to get rid of us once and for all and send a message. Around 80,000 men surprise attacked us in the winter. We did not see it coming, but thankfully they were unorganized and rather poor fighters, and we defeated them. Although it was not without losses. We lost many men. My best friend, my second best friend, Joshi, was killed in the battle. I decided that we should head home before word of his death spread, seeing that one of us could fall. So I quickly gathered my forces and hastily made my way home from the Caspian. Upon returning, I found Genghis in China. I had discovered that while we were gone, the Jin and Xia had decided to rebel against us. It did not matter. No, they did not. No, they did not defeat us. No one defeats us under Genghis Khan. But Genghis did not worry about them as I thought he would. He let the other generals lead about them. He let the other generals to beat them. He decided to let the younger and newer generals fight the rebels. After I told him of Jochi's death, of Jeb's death, he told me of Jochi's death in Afghanistan. He knew that we were old and we ourselves did not have that time. So he told me to come back with him to Mongolia to hunt where we were boys. And that is where he died. As he should have died. He died true to our nomadic roots. And he died by the hand of one God's earth. I had him buried in a secret location that nobody knows of. Anyone who heard or knew the location was killed. That's where we are today. Yes, he was an incredible man. If only people knew the truth about him. Maybe someday you shall teach them. Oh my, I forgot all about the ceremony. We must be starting soon. Come, I shall bring you